What is up guys, my name is Thomas, welcome back to another video. We are in week 4 and 5. Bi-weekly updates. We've got a total of 6 runs to cover, so stay tuned. As you can see, I'm not in my normal surroundings. I'm back home with my mom for the weekend because I'm going to the army on Sunday. And my mom has the enormous privilege to store all my army stuff in her basement. She is thrilled about that. But enough chit chat, let's jump into my first run. Winter officially hit and it was windy and really snowy for a couple of days. But as there are #no excuses, I still went outside for a very slippery run. This run was my speed run of the week, or in other words, it was a run that is aimed at improving my speed. And I was able to run at a pace of 4 minutes 30 per kilometer during 5.5 kilometers. So that was definitely a success. I'm getting more and more comfortable at running faster. Maybe by the end of my marathon training, I'm even going to be able to run my entire marathon at that speed. Run 2. I ran another 5K, a bit slower at a 4:45 pace. And that's already all the interesting details about that run. Run 3. Following that 10% rule that I mentioned in my last update, I increased the distance of my long run by that famous 10% and ran a bit more than 9.5K at a 4:55 speed. I can feel how my body struggles less and less to run such long distances. And honestly, it's really awesome to see how fast a body can progress. That's not me bragging, I think my body is like everybody else's. I think if you really stick to the training plan, your body will progress as fast as mine or even faster. It literally takes only a couple of weeks for the first results to show, and that just boosts your motivation extremely. On my long run, I was especially happy with my pace. It was a bit slower than usually, but I was able to hold a very steady pace along the entire distance. And that's already a wrap for week 4. In week 5, I increased my mileage again compared to last week, but for each run, I ran slower than what I did last week. So in my first run, I ran another 5K, but only at a 4:45 speed, so 15 seconds per kilometer slower than what I did last week. I'm really sorry, Americans, that I always mention everything in kilometers and not in miles. But how can you refuse metric? It's so sexy. I was able to slightly increase that speed on my second run, which was a 7K that I ran at a 4:40 pace. But overall, I was really feeling the effect of my training sessions from last week, and due to the cold weather, I think my muscles struggled a bit more to recover from the run. So I didn't want to push myself too much in week 5. And that was most visible in my third and last run of the week, my long run. My average speed over the entire distance was 5:45, so a whole minute slower than usually. I did part of that run with my sister and her boyfriend, who by the way flourished in his self-designated role as a filmer during the run. And as my sister and I mostly focused on talking rather than running, my speed during the part that I ran with her and her boyfriend was 6:45, but afterwards, once they stopped running and I continued my run, my average speed dropped down to 5 minutes per kilometer again. But despite my slow pace, that run I ran at what is called a progressive speed. So basically you start really slow and then progressively throughout the run, you increase your speed, hence progressive speed. And as in a lot of marathon training plans, that speed is recommended for your long run. So I was able to see for the first time what it was actually like to run your long run at a progressive speed. And I must say, I was way less tired at the end of the run. I could have gone on for, I think, a lot longer. So from now on, I think, at least on my long run, I will stick to that way of running, starting below my average speed and ending it roughly at my average speed at the end of the run. Because of course, it is a lot nicer if you can enjoy the entire run, if you can enjoy the surroundings, the weather, whatever, and not have to just focus on not suffering too much. So frankly, I really enjoyed the long run. By the way, it was 11 kilometers, a tad more than 11 kilometers. I kind of lost sight of the distance. I was just really motivated. So I didn't follow my 10% rule. I increased my long run in that week by a bit more than 10%. But due to the progressive speed, the strain on my body was also not so harsh. So overall, I think it was completely fine for my body to run 11 kilometers. And that's already my 5th week. As always, I also have a little something for you guys this week. So here we go with my tip of the week. If it is reconcilable with your schedule, try to plan your training sessions ahead of time at the beginning of the week, especially by checking the forecast. Because I really noticed during the last 2 weeks where on some days it was really snowy, on other days it was super sunny, how much weather affected my motivation and my performance during the run. Personally, I also don't like running during the night, or at least when it's dark out, because I feel like the distance to me then seems a lot longer, and as everything is dark, I cannot really see anything except what is illuminated by the street lights. So usually I try to squeeze in my running sessions over lunch so that I can enjoy the sun a bit. So before every new week, check the weather forecast in your area and maybe put the long run of your week on a day where there is very little wind and the highest chances of sun. And that's already all I have for you guys today. In my next bi-weekly update, I'm hopefully going to be able to share with you guys some very exciting news, but I'll let you dangle a bit for the time being. Feel free to comment down below how your training is going, and especially if you find my tips helpful. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe, and I hope to see you next time.